So we are going to see the medium access control, which is a very important part as far as data link layer is concerned. Now what is that medium access control? So as I said earlier, the medium access control data link layer can be divided into two control parts. First one is the medium access sublayer and second one is the logical link control sublayer. So there is various protocols that are used in multiple access. Why multiple access? Because see, whenever there is a single channel and if you want to access it, then in that case you'll be requiring a multiple access. So that multiple access you need to access it. So for that purpose there are three types of protocols are there: random access protocol, controlled access protocol, and channelization protocol. So in random access protocol, Aloha, CSMA, CSMA CD, CSMA CA, that are considered under random access protocol. In controlled access protocol, reservation, polling and token passing techniques are used, and in channelization protocols, FDMA, TDMA and CDMA protocols are used. That means these techniques are used. Now in pure slotted Aloha, as I said, that every station wants to access the media and it wants to send the frame. So what happens whenever station A sends the frame, station 2, 3 and 4, they are sending the frames. Okay, whenever they are sending the frames, there will be a collision when one frame and other frame time gets overlapped. So it sends with a probability P. So every station is sending the frame with a probability P, and as soon as the collision occurs, it waits for a certain time and after that again it sends the frame. Now here you can see that this is the slot. This is the slot where this frame 1, frame 2, frame 3, frame 4, all these frames are overlapped with each other, or during this time slot all the frames are overlapped. So during this the collision occurs. So during this time period the collision occurs. Similarly, there is a second time slot also, in which the station 4 and station 2 try to send the same frames at a time. So the collision occurs, and this collision will create a problem, or there will be a collision. So randomly you are sending it. Now how a pure Aloha system works: you start with this system, you set a backup time to 0, you send a frame, wait for certain time, you wait for an acknowledgement. If you get an acknowledgement, your transmission is successful. If you don't get acknowledgement, then your backup time is increased. Now again it is checked whether your backup time is crossed the limit or not. If it is crossed the limit, then it gets aborted. If no, then it will wait for a backup time and again it will try to send a frame. So this is a pure Aloha type of system where you wait, send, acknowledge. If you get acknowledgement, again it's okay, send the next frame. If you don't get it, then increment the backup time. You wait for the backup time. If it is not timed out, then you have to check for that one. So this is a pure Aloha system. What is the vulnerable time? What do you mean by vulnerable time? That means the total time of during that period. So you can see that B's beginning and B's end. B's end is collided with A's beginning, and A's end collides with the C's beginning. So the vulnerable time is the time during which there is a collision, or you detect the collision. So this time is, you can see that at time t equal to tr, transmission line it starts at time t and t plus tr. So total time will be 2 into tr is the vulnerable time over here, where B's end collides with the A's beginning and A's end collides with the C's beginning. So up to this the collision is that. So during this time period you will be detecting a collision. Okay. Now in the improved is the slotted Aloha, where the fixed slots are there. the slots are fixed. During that slots only frames are transmitted. Now what happens, let us see. So in previous case you have already seen that in previous case you have already seen that A's end and B's end, A's beginning and B's end are overlapped. But here in this case what happens, A and B, so frame station A, so station 1, 2, 3, 4, they are trying to send the frames, but since it is a slotted one, so during that slot only it will try to send a frame. So you can see that during this slot number 3, frame number 1.2 and frame number 4.1, they detect the collision. During slot number 2, 2.1 and 3.1, they try to detect the collision. During slot 4, there is no collision because there is only one frame present during that frame. So the success of acknowledgement is more. During slot 5, it is a station 4's frame is there. During slot 6, there is a station 3's frame is there. And during slot 1, there is. So you can see that. So vulnerable time in previous case was more comparative to this one, because here you can see that now in previous case the vulnerable time starts from here. So the vulnerable time starts from here and till the collision is detected. Now here you can see that the vulnerable time is this much only. So the time of that collision get reduced in slotted Aloha. This is what the advantage of slotted Aloha. So the assumption in slotted Aloha is that the frame are of same size. So actually in practice the frames are variable size, but here the assumption in slotted Aloha is it that frame is of same size. That means all the frames of all the stations have same size. The time is divided into equal size slots. So time transmit one frame, node starts to transmit the frame only at the beginning of the slot, not in between. So whenever there is a time slot starts, that time only the node will try to send a frame. And node 2 or mode nodes transmit in same slot, then all nodes will detect the collisions. So how it operates? So when node obtains a fresh frame, it transmits fresh frame in a sense time slot. It try to transmits the next. It try to transmit the. Sorry, I'm sorry. So whenever the node obtains the fresh frame to transmit, it transmit it in a next source which is available to it. If the no collisions are occurred, then node can send the new frame in a next slot, and if the collision occurs, it waits for the subsequent slot with probability p, so that there will be a success. Now here you can see that if the collision is occurring, then in that case there is no frame from station 1. If the collision is occurred, then it has waited for the next slot, because as soon as the next slot has come, it is tried to send the frame. So similarly it will try to send the frames with a probability p. Now the next multiple access control is multiple access control with CSMA, that is a carrier sense multiple access. Now what do you mean by carrier sense multiple access? It is invented to minimize the collision. So whatever maybe the collisions are occurring, that should be minimized and the throughput should be increased. That means the probability of successful transmission should be increased. Station now follows the activity of other stations. So every station follows the activity of other stations, and the simple rule for polite human conversation is that it is anonymous to like this, that whenever I am talking, you are listening. So you are in listening mode, you are not talking, but whenever you get the message and you are simultaneously talking, we are simultaneously talking, then in that case collision occurs and nobody will able to retrieve the information. But when I am talking, you are listening, and you are trying to talk. At that time, I should keep myself mute. I should keep myself in listening mode. Then I am able to listen you, and I am able to listen your information. This is how the communication occurs, and that communication we call it as a successful communication. And the same rules are followed for this CSMA also. CSMA, a node should not send if other node is already sending. That means if other node is sending the information and the carrier is sensed that the channel is busy, that time the node should not try to send the information. So this is called as a carrier sensing. Collision detection. So whenever the collision occurs, then all the nodes should stop the transmission. All the nodes should stop the transmission. And there is a third technique that is called as a collision avoidance. So in collision avoidance, it tried to avoid the collision itself. The system tried to avoid the collision itself. So there is an algorithm. That algorithm we are going to see. So there are three types of techniques that is called as a one persistent, non-persistent, and p-persistent. So non-persistent we can see here. What do you mean by non-persistent? Non-persistent, you are checking the carrier sense continuously. If the channel is busy, then you wait for certain time and again check the carrier. If the carrier is again busy, you wait for the certain time. But if the carrier is not busy, you send the frame. And in p persistent, you check the carrier, you keep changing the carrier, checking the carrier continuously, and as soon as the carrier is idle, then in that case you send the frame with a probability p. This is called as a p persistent or one persistent type of strategy. So I will call it as a, since it is sending with a probability p, I will call it as a persistent probability, p persistent probability. P persistent strategy. Now in CSMA what happens, let us try to understand. So at this time t1, B1 will try to send the frame. B1 will try to send the frame. So B station will try to send the frame. So at that time now this A is checking the carrier. So for A, this duration is there. Just a minute. So whenever B starts first, so this is the propagation delay time that the frame from B should reach to A. Okay. So B should reach to A. This is the propagation delay time, and that delay time is here. So this delay time is identified, and A will come to know that okay, B has started. So I should be keep in listening mode. But at that time here B and C, the distance is more between B and C. Now at time t2, at certain time t2, C starts sending the message. But till now it has not detected that B has sent the message. B has sent the message, so it starts sending the information. But at this time, when here it is, the collision is detected. Here it is, the collision is detected. Here it is the area where the all the signals are existing. Here this is the area where only B's signal is existing. Here it is the area where only C's signal is existing. So you can see that this is the time slot where you can find. So if I extend this like this up to here, so this is the time slot for C. So here this is only specific C is present. Here all the signals are present. So similarly it will try to check. So this is the point where the collision is detected, and that is transmitted over here. So that we are going to see that if everyone is sensing the medium, why collision still occurs? The collision occurs because for this station it is not knowing that B has transmitted, but as soon as it's try to send the information and it checks the collision gets occurred and C will send the jamming signal to all, and at that time, so let us see, this is what the vulnerable time. That means here it is the bay started the signal, and this is the time where C started the signal, and here the collision occurs, and when I take this time, this is the propagation delay time between B and C, which is nothing but a vulnerable time. So you can see that one persistent, non-persistent and p-persistent type of behavior. So if I consider one persistent, it is continuously checking the carrier sense. As soon as it becomes idle, it sends the information. In non-persistent, it sends, again it will wait for a certain time period, again it sends. So it is, see the difference in one persistent and non-persistent. It is continuously checking. Here it is sense, wait, sense, wait, sense, wait. So after waiting certain time, since the channel is idle, it will transmit. Here you can see that even though it is busy, and as soon as it finds that it is idle, it transmits. So in P persistent, the it transmits with a probability P. It transmits with the probability P. That is what the difference is. Now the next technique is CSMA CD, that is carrier sense multiple access with collision detection. Now here you can see that now it is very easy. At time t1, this A will start transmitting the signal. A will transmit the signal. So A will start the signal, and at this time it is not knowing that, C is not knowing that A has transmitted the signal. So C will start the transmitting the signal, but during that period C has also started the signal, and it will try to send the information back in backward as well as in all the directions, and A has started in forward directions, because this is the start and this is the end if we consider. So A is transmitting the signal in this direction, and C is also transmitting the signal in both the direction, in this direction as well as in this direction. So here it is the point where the collision occurs. That means C's signal collides with A's signal and collision occurs. And here it is the time where C detects the collision and it aborts its own transmission. And the time required over here, because the collision has occurred over here and the signal will come, jam signal will come over here. So A will detect the collision with C and abort the signal. So this is the transmission time for A, and this is the transmission time for C. So why it has happened? So transmission time between these two stations will be less. So here it is the transmission time, vulnerable time, and the vulnerable time for A will be this much. So the propagation delay time will become a vulnerable time, and collision has detected. Now once the collision has detected, the person who detects the collision first will send the jamming signal to all the network, and all will stop the sending the frames, and they will wait for next carrier to become ideal. As soon as the carrier becomes ideal, again it will go for transmission. So similarly, this is the technique is called as carrier sense multiple access collision detection. Now here you can see the flow diagram for this carrier CSMA CD. So station has a frame to send, so it will K will be set to 0, that means a pointer is set to 0 or back off is set to 0. Apply one of the persistent method, that means we have seen the three persistent methods, non-persistent, one persistent and P persistent. We will consider either of the case. So as soon as it will come over here, if it is true or false, if it is done or collision is detected. If done, If it is true, it will go for the next. If done, check for the next. If not, you can see here, if done, collision is detected. If it is true, or collision is detected, if it is true, then jamming signal is here generated. If it is not there, transmit and receive will occur. If it is false, that means collision has not detected, it will keep transmitting and receiving the signal. Okay, but as soon as the collision is detected, if the collision is not detected, that means the success has occurred. If the collision is detected, it sends the jamming signal. It sends the jamming signal. So K is incremented. Now that backoff is incremented. Now that backoff has certain time duration, right? So if this count is increased, then it will abort the transmission. If it is not increased, it will wait for a random time for period, and again it will go here, and again it will check for the sense, and the system continues till it gets aborted or it gets a success. So this is called as a carrier sense multiple access with collision detection. So collision is detected, jamming signal, then it will increment the counter will increment, and the loop continues till either you get a success or you abort the message. Now the next one is carrier sense multiple access. Next one is carrier sense multiple access. So in carrier sense multiple access, actually three activities are happening. So first activity is interframe scheme, then the second one is the contention window, and third one is the acknowledgement. Now what happens when carrier sense is detected, it will continuously checking. So you can see that either this is a one persistent or p persistent type of system. So we'll say that let us consider it is a one persistent or p persistent type of system. So it is continuously checking the carrier. So as soon as you found the carrier is idle, it will wait for interframe duration, that interframe system duration. So for that purpose, it will wait for a certain that IFS time. Then after that, it will wait for a binary exponential contention window. That means it will wait for a random time period, and after that again it will check for the, if it is idle, then the frame is sent and you will get an acknowledgement. So here you will send a frame, here it will send a frame, and you will get an acknowledgement. And once this is sent without any collision or without, that means it is waiting for a certain period and it is trying to avoid the collision. So we can understand it through this algorithm. Let us see how the algorithm works. So when station has a frame to send, so your first backoff will be set to 0. Then it will continuously check for the channel. If the channel is not free, that means it is false. It will continuously keep checking, and as soon as the channel carrier is sensed and the carrier is found or the channel is found ideal, it will wait for IFS. IFS is interframe space. So it will wait for an interframe space for a certain time period. So that IFS is fixed. So it will wait for that IFS. So choose any random number R between 0 to 2 raised to k minus 1 and use the rth slot. So that slot you have to choose it, that is a random number. So during that random number you choose any rth slot, then send RTS signal. RTS is request to send information, and you start setting a timer. You start setting a timer. After that, when you get a signal for a clear to send, then you again wait for IFS and you send a IFS and you send a frame, and you set a timer, and if the timer is not set, or if you get an acknowledgement uh, before time, then you get a success, and if you don't get it, then k is incremented. And here, if you don't get the CTS, that means you are not getting a signal that it is clear to send, then in that case also your time duration or backup time is increased. And if that is crossed, then there, in that case, if the limit is crossed, then in that case your transmission is aborted, else it will wait for a certain time period and again it goes into loop, and this is how it will try to avoid the collision. Now here you can say that the previous CSMA CD and CSMA CA, the 2 points are added. First one is this IFS, then RTS, and this CTS. So it will try to check. First it will wait for IFS, okay, then it will wait for a random time during that time slot, and it will try to send the information. It first send a request, and as soon as you get a request that okay, now you can send the frame, then and then only you will be sending the frame, otherwise you will be waiting. That means you are trying to avoid the collision. This is how a CSMA CA technique works. So with that we have completed the random access protocol techniques. So if you